is, as you can see, I've got too many old cars. This bay window bus has been in the garage for 6 years roughly. Mechanically it's pretty good. The sills are totally rotted out. You can't really see it, but particularly the inner sill. So first thing I've done is take the sliding door off, take the whole interior out, just so you can see what condition the floor is in. This side of the floor, it's a left-hand drive bus, it's pretty good. Far side, it's actually rusted up through the floor from the sill. So once we've done this side, we're going to turn the whole bus around and start again on the other side. This one's probably a bit more complicated because we've got the sliding door track to keep in the right place. So how do you get the door off? Well, basically there's a little slider that runs along here, the back side of the door, and it's got a cover on it, which is now up here. You see this thing? Basically it clips on a row of clips here, the cover does, and it curves downwards, and it's located with a tiny little nut there. It's actually a bolt, so if you go around the other side, there's actually, I had to remove a bit of trim to find it. Where are we? There we are. The crosshead screw this side, bolt goes all the way through. So you undo that. There's another one here which locates it. If you can see that there, that's again a crosshead screw. It's probably never been undone for years, so I had to use an impact screwdriver to get it started. I definitely recommend that. And also there's another one, that crosshead screw goes up here into the cover. See, basically you undo that, you undo that, undo that, then with a bit of wood underneath it so you don't bend it, long piece of wood under the cover, knock it upwards till it comes off these clips, and then you expose this lot. What I then do is literally just lifted the roller system off the track. I had some foam underneath just in case I dropped the door, and then you basically hold the door, rear side of the door outwards, walk back with it, and what you'll see is the roller mechanism that runs along here. You can see there's a little notch out here, which means if you angle the door outwards at this sort of angle, it'll come out. On the top track, the roller up here just drops down and comes out. So basically you end up holding the door. Just be aware it's heavy, so have some old cushions or stuff like this on the floor, just so you can put it down as soon as you've got it off. So here's my door, safely stowed around the back on lumps of foam, and now we'll start looking at the sill. The sill, following guidelines really from someone else who's put some stills up on the web. You've got a top edge here which is part of the floor, but inside there's an inner track. I don't know if you can see it, it's a bit hard to see. I might take some stills. There's an inner lip under here, and you need to keep that intact. So what I've never done this before, so I'm a beginner like you guys probably, but what's been suggested is if you drill a hole here, 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 put some 4mm bolts through, when you ultimately come to separate that top track and take it all off, you know that when you bolt it back up, before you weld it, it's going to be in the same place that it was before, which means theoretically your door should still shut once you finish repairing the sill. These cheap nut and bolt sets, so I've just worked my way along, drilling holes, putting short bolts through. So these will hold the inner top part of the inner track in exactly the same place relative to the floor when we put it back, because I think we have to save that. I don't think it comes with the replacement panels. ground off this outer sill, which is hanging on by a thread here. As you can see, it's a bit of a mess behind it. Whatever was there, it's pretty much rusted away. But as you can see, the top part of the floor and the top of the track is okay, and we're going to keep that when we put it all back together with new panels. So the next thing is to take all this off and this off. I'm going to cut along here and then start grinding off the inner sill where it joins the ends of the outriggers. I've cut with angle grinder all the way along here. So we're going to take the bottom part of the track off. In fact, I can probably I'll show you here. A bit hard with one hand. See, this will come off now. And I've cut it. There it goes. Okay, it's come off. So I've cut it flush with the back surface of the track slot. So that gives me more options for later on. Next thing then will be to take the middle sill out, what's left of it, leaving, I'll just cut along below here, and then we'll see the inner sill, what's left of it, where it joins the outriggers, and we'll grind it off, which should leave the ends of the outriggers, but we'll see about that. But made a cut all the way along here. This is the middle sill, but I've the level I've cut it is where the middle sill, the track if you like, folded and came out this way. So basically if I put the bottom of the new track, butt it up to this line, it should theoretically all be the right dimensions, but we'll see about that. The one I saw online, the guy actually drilled out all the spot welds and then dropped the upper track here off and did all that welding off the vehicle. But I'm just keeping my options open here, so we'll see what happens later on. The middle sill piece that I've been grinding has fallen off, so now we're starting to see the inner sill from obviously this side of it. It's a pretty flaky mess, so we're going to start taking that back till we can see the ends of the outriggers. That's the next step. Right, what I've done here is I've taken off the lower part of the inner sill that was left, so now we're just left with the back surface of it where it joins the outriggers. So we'll just gently start taking that away until we hopefully just see the end of the outriggers. The ends need seriously tidying up, but we're getting there. Doing okay. I've cut away part of the inner sill where it meets the outriggers. This is the end of one of the outriggers. Another one here, needs to probably take it back a bit further. And there's another one. So I think what I'm going to do now is drill out all the spot welds for the inner sill, and then if I hammer through them with partially drill through them and then hammer them with a punch, the sill should start to come away and drop down. I've been using one of these paint stripping wheels in an electric drill, and you can see if you do it carefully there's slight depressions with the paint left in where the spot welds are. The same is not true of the middle sill. There should be a row of spot welds here, I think, holding it, but I can't actually see them. So let's get the inner sill off anyway and see where we are. There's no really easy way to describe the next part. Basically, I trimmed the inner sill up higher again, but did it in sections between each outrigger. See, here's the end of the outrigger, this one here, and then I removed each. I've already drilled through the spot welds. I've just drilled them out completely, to be honest. I stopped trying to be clever about it. And then basically each section between each outrigger, you get underneath and you chisel away with a hammer and a chisel, and then you just keep cutting. So basically you make a vertical cut up here from underneath and one here, and then you, for want of a better way of doing it, grab it with a pair of these and just start wriggling it back and forwards. Basically you can see through the spot weld holes, you can see if I wriggle it back and forth enough times, eventually it'll just break free, and you just keep doing that all the way along till you've got the inner sill off. Mine's obviously been repaired because I seem to have multiple layers of metal where the inner sill is. I suspect they've never actually taken it off completely, they've just cut it off much like I have now, and they just put the new one over the top and welded it on. So hopefully this time round I'll end up with something vaguely resembling the original arrangement when I've finished. Finally it's coming off. See? You can see, I don't know if you can see, there seems to be several layers of metal here. So goodness knows how many times this has been repaired. Anyway, wiggle it around a bit and it'll come off. This is the lower edge of the track. The middle sill should come up like that and then go down. I'm not sure. I know the repair panel doesn't have this top half of the track included, so if you can see, I've left it on for now. The inner sill's completely gone. We've got outriggers which are not made of rust, they're actually made of metal, so they need tidying up, but they're okay. The ends here need tidying slightly. Well, I need to see what the repair panels exactly look like before I cut that back completely. And as you can see, we drilled out the spot welds, so when the new replacement inner sill goes up, it should weld up to the outriggers, and there's a fold on the top, actually it goes back that way, and I should be able to plug weld through these holes. Okay, I've freed the top of the track here. I don't know if you can see that. This is the top of the track that the lower roller of the door runs in, and it's spot welded up here like that all the way along. So what I found was you can't see the spot welds easily from the top, even if you grind the paint off. What you can do is underneath, if you feel underneath the track, you can feel them. So I marked them, made very small pilot holes, and then just drilled and drilled and hit it with a chisel till it all came free. So this part of the track will need to be welded to the replacement middle sill panel, which has the lower part of the track on it, and then the whole lot plug welded back up through these holes.